Do 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 do.
Hey, how's it going? It's Nancy Gamon. Thanks for visiting. When the weather outside is frightful, let's ice dye something delightful. Today I'm getting ready to dye a batch of pretty little snowflake fabrics. These are just the thing for winter craft projects. I'm starting with 100% cotton muslin. I've pre-washed it in a textile detergent to remove any sizing that might be on the fabric. And then I've soaked it in a soda ash solution for at least 10 minutes. I'm working with small pieces of fabric that are about 5.5 by 7.5 inches. You're welcome to use fabric with different dimensions, but this technique does work best with smaller pieces of fabric. I'm doing a batch of 10 pieces of fabric. If your fabric is square, fold it in half. If your fabric is a rectangle, have that first fold be lengthwise. Your first fold will create the vertical line. So I'm folding the fabric in half lengthwise and then in half crosswise. And then I'm bringing just the top fold up to meet the side fold. And then I'll lift the diagonal to meet that same side fold. I'm flipping the fabric over and repeating the process on the other side, lifting the bottom fold to meet the side, and then lifting the diagonal fold to meet the side. Now I have a long skinny triangle with many folds on one side and 2 folds on the other side. Now I'm going to roll them up together in groups of 5, keeping the sides of the triangle with many folds aligned. I'm going to roll pretty tightly so that some areas of the fabric will stay white, and this will help create the snowflake pattern. So I'm just rolling up one triangle when I get close to the end, inserting another triangle until I have all 5 rolled up together into kind of a cinnamon roll shape. I want that top fairly flat with the many folds. Then I'm just going to wrap it in a small protective cloth. I like to use makeup remover towelettes that have gone through the laundry. They're just the right size. This will help the cinnamon roll keep its shape, and it also will help protect the fabric from any spotting that might occur from undissolved dye. I'm placing my little cinnamon rolls into plastic cups that have holes poked in the bottom so that the liquid dye can flow straight through. First, I'm covering the fabric with a layer of ice cubes, and then it's time to sprinkle on the Procion Fiber Reactive Dye. This dye works best with fabric that is 100% plant fibers. You can use any color that appeals to you. Try and choose a light, medium, and dark blue. Since the fabric isn't very big, it doesn't take very much dye. When I sprinkle on the darkest color, I use just a tiny little bit. The dark helps us see the light, so I want to use some, but not too much. Now the project is ready to rest overnight for 22 to 24 hours. This will allow time for the ice to melt, the powder to turn to liquid, and beautiful tendrils of color to melt into the fabric. I heard it snowed last night. Let's see how our snowflakes turned out. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the fabric to the sink and rinse each piece under cold running water until the water runs clear. Then I'll wash the fabric in hot water with textile detergent to remove any remaining loose dye. Then I'll rinse out the textile detergent in cold water. If you'll be using these fabrics for projects that won't be washed, like greeting cards or wall hangings, you're done. You can go ahead and dry the fabric and press it with a hot iron. If your projects will be washed, I like to soak them in hot water with a splash of Retain for about 20 minutes. This helps keep the fabric stay nice when it's laundered. In either case, once the fabric is dry, press it with a nice hot iron. The fabric looks pretty dark right now, doesn't it? But it will get much lighter once it goes through the washing process and when it's dried. So you know what I always say, Don't cry before it's dry. So here's our finished fabrics, and my gosh, don't they look beautiful? They've been washed, dried, and pressed with a nice hot iron to really bring out the little whispers in the snowflakes. I hope you enjoyed today's project. If you'd like to give it a try, be sure to check the video description for links to resources and a complete supply list. In the next video, I'll show how to make pretty winter greeting cards using some of the snowflakes we dyed today. So stay tuned and stay warm. I'll see you next time. Do 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 do.